If you see my previous post, you'll get context of my first proper meltdown about my mill. Finally, we moved into our new home with her, the one we loved and which afforded us all the space in the world. My sil asked my mill to visit her so I could get a nice break from her, and so she's been away in Europe for the past 2 months, which has really afforded my husband and I much needed time alone, and myself deeper perspective about what kind of environment I want to create for our baby, who is expected to arrive in 2.5 months, and what kind of expectations I have for my own life, where I am not being pushed around by my mill and her issues. I've been nervous about her return back to our home. She's going to be back in 2 weeks, but I've been reading books about setting boundaries and lurking around here reading all the kind advice. As a first-time mom, I'm also very mindful about being assertive about my needs because that'll help me provide for my low better. One of the first steps in doing this was that I did not speak to her at all during her time in Europe. I know this bothered her, but in the span of the 2 months I've had 2 grandparents die, been admitted for an emergency in my pregnancy, all okay now, and every time she called me I told her I didn't feel ready to talk and stuck my ground. This annoyed her a lot, but it gave me so much peace to not have that sick feeling of rage and annoyance when she calls me and interrogates me and makes everything about herself. In turn, she has been calling my mom when she knows she's staying over with me to try and get me on the line. My mom's the best though and always saves me from it. Every day over the past few months I consciously reflected on what bothered me about her and felt like I was at best adequately prepared to identify what my boundaries should look like. But then in quick succession I got information that threw me off a little bit. Now I'm more sure than ever about setting those boundaries, but want to know what is the best way for me to do it without objectively being rude or offensive or disrupting the peace in my house, and maintaining the cultural norms of not being disrespectful towards elders, especially the in-laws. I met my best friend and she told me that when she was last visiting our home 6 months ago, my mill overheard a conversation between her, and when I wasn't at home she started interrogating her about what I was telling her and asking her questions about my husband and I and our choices about healthcare during pregnancy, none of anyone's business. On her first weekend in Europe she blatantly lied to my sil about incidents when I was rude, literally making things up in one instance. How do I initiate this when she's back? Comment. You need to make a list of boundaries and a list of consequences for each boundary when it is stomped. You need to go over this with your husband and have him completely on board for this to work. You two will have to work as a unit to overcome her. Consistency is key, just like with a child. When she returns, you and your husband should have a dinner planned for the 3 of you. Let your husband lead the conversation. Make every boundary very clear. Maybe even post them on the fridge if she seems to have trouble remembering. Make this a talk about growth of your relationship and mutual respect. Have her move out? I know it's not culturally acceptable for you, but maybe another relative can take care of her? Your husband can maybe have a family meeting and tell them she is not getting along with you, his wife, and he needs to take care of his family needs first. It is just not working out with her. Maybe one of them can handle her for a while. She is already starting war, so you avoiding conflict will only make things worse and worse and worse because she will not stop. Let your husband handle this since it's his family, but let him know this is not working and something has to be done. Kick her out. Move her crap to a storage unit before she returns and change the locks. I don't understand why so many women move in with these monsters. Is it a financial thing? Can you not afford a place to live without her? Why the hell is she there? Even while gone for 2 months her abuses have overtaken your mind. What a crappy existence. I would rather not have someone in my home sabotaging my life and relationships and have a smaller home, than to have a big home with a psycho mill. Nothing you do or say will change her. The moment baby is born she is going to escalate. Plenty of women post about it on here daily. I just don't get it. Your home is supposed to be your safe place, a sanctuary, and tons of women have let Lucifer inside. *PS, she has already started war by smearing you to everyone else. Why would you allow this to continue and to ruin your special time with your soon-to-be arriving baby? You can't get those years back. She will interfere and she will try to pretend she's mommy to your child. You really need to understand that your boundaries are for you, about what you will and won't do. You can't set boundaries on other people, that's manipulative and controlling. Your Mil can lie all she wants, that's not for you to control. What you don't have to do is hear about it. If someone is truly asking and you care to set them straight, fine. If they're gossiping, just don't gossip. Don't take part in the foolishness. That goes for your friend too. Either they maintain your confidences or they don't. It doesn't matter what Mil does. If your friend doesn't maintain your confidences, then you have to decide what to tell them. Next story 2. Mil/Sil complaining my pregnancy timing is inconvenient for them. Husband and I told them about our pregnancy right after our first appointment, at week 12, couldn't go earlier due to doctor being booked up for emergency surgeries. I didn't want to announce it any earlier because one of my friends just had a miscarriage at 8 weeks and I was worried that could happen to me. At first, his family reacted happily and they even said they would throw us a baby shower. Fast forward, 2 months later, my Mil and 2 Sil called us out of nowhere, yelling at us, saying we told them about our pregnancy too late, it's our fault we aren't planning the baby shower, when they said they would plan it, and that our pregnancy timing is inconvenient for them because the baby gifts are too expensive right now. I rather them not get us anything than listen to this bullshit. We didn't even ask them for anything but they kept saying I was too late on making my registry when I was at 15 weeks. The baby is due in September, and they're already yelling at us why we are not committing to flying to his parents' house, across the country, for Thanksgiving and Christmas with the baby because people fly with 1-month-old babies all the time, even though they've never done that, they don't even travel by plane ever. My husband has been defending us and yelling back. He tried not to yell, but they were just being so unreasonable and mean. I am so tired of their selfishness. When it came to our wedding, everything had to revolve around them, what they wanted, on their schedule, etc., and now for them to complain about everything related to my pregnancy and put all the stress on us in general. I don't need the stress or them in my life, especially right now. They're never going to change their narcissistic ways, my husband knows that too. I just feel so sad and bad that this is the situation and we can't see it getting better. Comment. During your pregnancy, congratulations, distance yourself from them. Let husband deals with them. Info diet about you. Enforce your boundaries with consequences. Do not let them know when you're in labor or give birth. Do not allow them to visit for weeks, or months, take time to recover, adjust to your new role. And do not travel with your 1-month baby. No is a simple answer, no need to jade, justify, argue, defend, explain, your choice or decisions. Do not risk your baby's health and your well-being. Create new family tradition with so and lo, at home instead. Before giving birth, have a talk with so about what you expect and what you won't tolerate from his family. Stop contacting them. They are behaving badly, and every time they behave badly, they get a week or 2 of time out. You and your husband are adults and you are entitled to make your own decisions about yourselves and your baby. They are wrong. They are wrong about the registry, they are wrong about the baby shower. They are wrong about traveling for the holidays with a newborn and postpartum mom. It's time for you and your husband to learn to politely but firmly say no thank you. Mom, if you are so upset about planning the baby shower, no worries, we absolve you of your responsibility, we will plan it. Mom, if you are so upset about the lack of a baby registry, no worries, we release you from your obligation to purchase any for us. If you choose to do so, please include a gift receipt. You and your husband tolerated their abuse for your wedding, you don't have to tolerate it for the baby. You and your husband don't need them. You have each other. You have doctors. You will figure this stuff out, like the rest of us did as first-time parents. You now have the perfect excuse to say no, we regretfully decline your invitation. You are pregnant and then you will have a baby. You and your husband are responsible for the health and well-being of yourselves and your baby. Your baby cannot speak for himself. He is relying on you to speak for him and to keep him from harm. Your Mill and Sil don't care about your well-being or the well-being of your child. They want what they want and they don't care if you get sick or your baby ends up in the hospital. That's just an unfortunate situation, but at least all 30 relatives got to kiss the baby and one of them gave the baby RSV that landed baby in the PICU for 2 weeks. They only care about themselves and life. So, you and your husband need to stop contacting them, stop providing them with details, stop accepting their offers to help, start declining their invitations, except for the ones you really want to do. As for the holidays, no, you will be spending Thanksgiving and Christmas at home with your new baby. You don't need to yell, hubby doesn't need to yell. You and hubby are trying to explain why, and they don't care about the why. They are like little toddlers who want what they want. You need to treat them like the toddlers they are and say no. And then hang up. You don't need to justify anything. You are the parents, you both made the decisions together. The answer is no, we are not going anywhere for the holidays, we are staying home. If they continue to argue, say, sorry, but the subject is closed, goodbye, and hang up. You are trying to be reasonable with unreasonable people. You can't reason with someone who is unreasonable. Their demands are unreasonable, they don't need an explanation. It won't convince them anyway because they are unreasonable. Save yourself and your husband a lot of grief by giving them any answer and saying goodbye and hanging up. When they try to call back, let it go to voicemail. Honestly, you and your husband should let all their calls go to voicemail, then you listen to the voicemail and decide how you want to respond and then respond hours or a day later. Stop answering when they call, stop respond when they text. You and hubby need time to think about how to respond. You can also listen to the voicemail, decide the answer is no, and text a response of got your voicemail, sorry, that doesn't work for us. Count us out. That way they can't argue with you because it was a text. If they text back, don't respond because you already gave a response. Eventually when you talk to them, he can say, Mom sis, you are both being unreasonable. We do not have to justify to you our decisions. We are adults. We are done explaining, the answer is no, and that's final. Once you start taking control back and stop responding on their time frame, delay, and respond on your, you will feel better. Hope this helps. Your husband needs to stop yelling at them. Anything related to your pregnancy and delivery. Our reproductive choices are none of your business. We are making the decisions that work for our family. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? No. Okay, bye then. Repeat with variations. Our postpartum choices for OP are none of your business. We are making the decisions that work for our family. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? No. Okay, bye then. Our holiday choices none of your business. We are making the decisions that work for our family. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? No. Okay, bye then. Our child rearing choices are none of your business. We are making the decisions that work for our family. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? No. Okay, bye then. Literally, he should hang up. He doesn't need to defend your choices. He doesn't need to tolerate being yelled at. The only people who get a say are him, you, and the medical professionals you choose to work with for your pregnancy and your baby's childhood.